Today's video is sponsored by Ariat. Hey everybody, Adam here with Hometown Acres. Welcome back. So this is going to be kind of a continuation video from the last one that we posted, where Doug was over here with his Bobcat E60 digging us some test holes for the pond, and he's still here. And he figured while he's got the equipment here, because it took him about an hour to track that machine, about 1.5 miles from his house to my house, figured while he's here with the equipment, might as well go ahead and take advantage and go ahead and sort through some of our firewood logs too, because now that we have the Eastimate Axis and the Yappa 315, we've got some logs that'll go through the Yappa 315 pretty easy. Once they get over about 10 to 12 inches, then you got to go ahead and sort them and take them over to the Eastimate Axis and process them with the chainsaw and the splitter. But that brings me to a point that I wanted to talk about. A lot of people will comment on these videos that we do with the firewood, saying that they can't believe how much money we have tied up in equipment just to make firewood. You know, it's really not that valuable of a commodity, and yet we've got, you know, a commercial log splitter, a firewood processor, a side-by-side, an F-150, a dump trailer, and a tractor. And I've got a couple of points I want to make about that. So most of those pieces of equipment are multi-purpose. The side-by-side we use for plowing snow in the wintertime, we use for getting around the property and trail riding. The tractor has about 1,000 uses, not just firewood. The dump trailer I used the other day to go pick up a swing set for my son. So all of these pieces of equipment have multiple uses. They're not just dedicated towards firewood. Now, the second point I want to make is that firewood to me is a hobby, and hobbies generally cost people money. If you think about people who like to spend their money on hot rod sports cars and fix them up, or boats and jet skis, or traveling the world to go to different golf resorts, all of those things cost money. And when you think about it like that, I really don't mind having a lot of money invested in equipment to help me make firewood, because it's something I enjoy doing and I want to make it as easy as possible. I don't want to be out here with a chainsaw and an axe. I don't want to be working. I want to be having fun, and running equipment, running the coolest, newest firewood toys is what I enjoy doing. So that's where I like to spend my money. So with that, let's go ahead and check in with Doug and see how far he's gotten through our firewood pile with his excavator. So I mentioned earlier that today's video is sponsored by Ariat, and I want to thank them for sponsoring today's video. I'll be honest, before we partnered with them, I didn't know much about Ariat, but you have to keep in mind I'm a 29-year-old accountant. I sit behind a desk 40 hours a week for my day job. So when it comes to work clothes for the weekend warrior tasks that I do on this YouTube channel, I just always wore whatever jeans and t-shirts that I had, and they got beat up pretty good. They weren't made for going out and running chainsaws and tractors and cutting firewood. And what a difference it has made that we now actually have clothes that are made to work outside. Like I said, I've only been wearing Ariat for about 3 months now, so I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I've worn the same pair of Ariat jeans for the last 15 years. However, I do have a buddy who works in the oil and gas industry. He's a heavy equipment operator, and he usually runs, big track hose and digs pipelines out in North Dakota and actually all across the country. And I asked him, where all have you dug at? And he said, well, the song I've Been Everywhere by Johnny Cash? He said, that's a theme song to my life. He's been in about, I think he said 45 different states. And I know that he exclusively wears Ariat. And I asked him, what is it that you like about Ariat over the other brands? And he said there's 3 reasons why he chooses Ariat over the other brands. The first reason is because he's a heavy equipment operator out in the oil field. He has to wear fire-resistant clothing. That's the first hurdle that he has to have for any clothing company that he uses for his work clothes. They have to offer FR clothing. Ariat does. Secondly, he said that Ariat is the most comfortable FR clothing that he's ever worn. A lot of that other stuff is kind of like wearing cardboard for jeans and shirts. And he also said that Ariat clothing just seemed to last longer than anything else that he's worn. Now, the third reason he said, aside from it being some of the most durable work clothing and some of the most comfortable work clothing he's ever worn, he said it's also some of the most stylish. He said no more do you have to buy work clothes and then Friday night clothes. He said as long as your work clothes are clean, you could wear them out on date night. And even after only wearing Ariat for about 3 months, those are all 3 things that I can attest to: comfortable, durable, and it looks good. So if you guys are interested, go check out our link down below. Ariat's offering 10% off to anybody who clicks on that link, and Ariat also offers free shipping on all orders. Anyway, let's head back down to the wood yard. All right, so we just got back down to the firewood yard, and I tell you what, I have my work cut out for me. Doug got all of these logs moved and sorted, maybe 2 hours. That excavator is just wicked fast, but I've got a giant pile of logs here and then back here as well that will have to be cut up with the chainsaw and then run through the axis. They're too big to go through the yappa. And then here's the pile of logs that we have for the yappa. I will be busy for a little while with these. I definitely think that the yappa is going to chew through these, but this is a pretty significant pile of logs here. I think the biggest hurdle or the biggest bottleneck is what am I going to do with the wood that's coming off the outfeed. Right now, because we're getting ready to do the pond build, I want to keep the dump trailer free of wood. That way, if we need it to move dirt, I don't have to stack a bunch of wood in it. So I'm just going to let these fall onto the ground for now. And as you can see, we're starting to run out of daylight here. So we're going to go ahead and get a little bit of wood cut and split here with the Yappa 315. And then we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up. All right, so as you can see, the sun is setting on us and it is hot out here. It's not actually that hot. It's about 75 degrees, but it's about 98% humid out right now. So I am just dripping sweat. Here's about what we got done in about 20 minutes before the sun went down. That's probably not quite a third of a cord, but again, had more issues getting the wood out of the pile here because some of these logs were tangled up. But now that we got the hard work out of the way and got the wood backed off of the log lift here, going forward, this should be a lot easier. We kind of got our log jam out of the way. All right, guys, like I said at the beginning of this video, a lot of this equipment is overkill for what we do here. We burn about 5 cords ourselves. We sell somewhere between 15 and 20 every year. And we probably had in the ballpark of $125,000 worth of equipment here working on Firewood. The excavator that Doug brought over was about a $70,000 machine. The Yappa 315 is a $13,000 machine. Our dump trailer was about $5,000. The Easton-made Axis is an $11,000 machine. Side by side, 7,500 bucks. The list goes on, but again, right around 125 grand worth of equipment here. And like I said, if you're gonna have a hobby, and this is what we like doing, we might as well try to make it as enjoyable as possible, have some nice equipment so it's enjoyable to run and as little like work as possible. I want to give a big thank you to Doug for bringing the excavator over today, and I also want to give a big thank you to Ariat for sponsoring today's video. If you guys enjoyed this video, give us a big thumbs up, click that subscribe button. We'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.